Your first hire is not going to be a logo designer. I know you want to. That temptation is just it's so real. But today we're going to be talking about your first hire, who they are, where to find them, how to trust them, and how not to blow your budget on aesthetics when there's still real work that needs to be done. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. I let you know at the beginning of every episode that I have absolutely no idea what it is that I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the energy of someone who's tripped and is making a career out of the fall. Okay, the first hire to your business. We are going to be talking about your first hire. I'm very excited about this episode. I'm very passionate about this episode because I think this is a very underrated, under talked about topic. And I just think we really need to talk about what happens with our first hire when we are starting our own business. So, first things first, you want to hire for something, but you need to hire for something else. So, let's talk about the difference of what you want to hire for, most likely, but what you should be hiring for. Okay. A lot of the time, what I see, and I'm guilty of it, I'm so guilty of it. The first thing that you want to hire for is probably some type of aesthetic based something. Logo designer, custom website build, brand identity, whatever. It is very tempting to fall into the aesthetics thinking you are not professional and polished looking and your business is not well represented if somebody is not creating a logo for you. That makes total sense. And I totally get where your brain is coming from, but hear me out. You can very easily create a simple design in Canva for free with very little stress. I promise you, very little stress. It actually can be quite fun because you're like, I'm designing the first logo for my business. And there are free website themes that you can utilize that are mobile friendly. They're straightforward and easy to use for websites through say WordPress, okay? And they come with a bunch of plugins that will be very helpful to you for free. There are a lot of free tools that you can utilize to get your business started. This does not have to cost an arm and a leg. Please don't think that the first thing you need to be spending your money on is aesthetics. With that being said, for anybody out there who does logo and brand identity and website design, I think you guys are so talented and so cool because I can't visualize like that, right? I'm just not a good artist. I don't think in those things of like the clever ways that you put symbols together. And anyway, I truly think that your first hire should be something that you need them for, which we'll get into, because it's much better to bring on someone you need for, say, 6 months and have them help you make more money so that maybe 6 to 10 months from now, you can use that more money to buy the brand identity of your dreams and invest in the graphic designer or illustrator that you want to invest in. Okay. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying maybe don't do it for your first hire. Okay. Now, let's talk about what you should be hiring for. Um, when I started as a travel blogger and travel photographer, I was taking a lot of classes in terms of like the business of being a freelance photographer, the business of being a photographer, contract writing for being a photographer, because people will sneak in, like brands will sneak in that they have universal rights to your photos instead of licensing, and you lose out on a lot of money and they make a ton of money off your product. And since I was new to the business, I didn't want to get taken advantage of. And I also wanted to do right by my clients. So I wanted to learn as much as I could, and I absorbed a lot of information from all these different photographers, one of which was Chris Burkhardt. If you don't know Chris Burkhardt, he's like this traveling adventure photographer. He's just seems like a genuinely really cool dude. And he did like a business of photography class online. So this is indirectly from him with a little bit of tabby juice sprinkled in there. And you should have your first hire be someone who's doing something for you that you are not good at. And here's the thing, you wear many, many hats in your entrepreneurship journey. You are not always going to be good at every single thing that it is that you do, and something you hate. If you can find someone who can take that sweet spot of covering something that you hate doing and are not good at doing, chef's kiss, baby. Chef's kiss. The stress relief is so significant to hiring someone who takes care of something that you are not good at doing and hate doing. Like the amount of free time that you suddenly have to create or do the meat and potatoes of your business, right? Like it's just, it's beautiful. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, Chris Burkhardt's first hire was an accountant. It's been some many years since I've gone through the course, but I'm pretty sure I'm remembering correctly that it was an accountant. And it was something that he didn't like doing. It was something that he wasn't particularly good at. And he hired an accountant to take care of like the invoicing and budgeting and everything for him. So he just didn't have to worry about it. He knew it was taken care of and he could focus on client work and project work and traveling and being a photographer, right? So find your Chris Burkhardt accountant equivalent thing. Whatever it is that you hate, whatever it is that you're not good at, that's what you should be focusing on first. Now, for me, my first hire was a blog manager. I was writing tons of blog posts at the time. Um, and I was also doing lots of research for World Her Story at the time. And it was just very overwhelming. So I ended up hiring a blog manager who would do the SEO research for me. I wrote the blog posts. She took care of all of the website crawling stuff. SEO keyword research, making sure all the phrases were in my blog post for me, making sure my blog posts were linked to other blog posts or websites or whatever so everything could be crawled correctly, and working on my domain authority. All of that stuff was now taken care of by someone else, and that freed me up to do so much more for my business. It was really helpful to hire this person. Um I'm so glad that I did, because even now my website is performing really well with what it is that she worked on. And because you guys know, especially those of you who have blogs or do website maintenance or whatever, SEO doesn't work overnight. You can get clicks and stuff like that through your newsletter and Facebook and stuff like that when you post things. But really, where the good stuff comes from is having good SEO and it being crawled through correctly so Google can pick it up and put it at the top of the search list. I'm still getting really good clicks on things because of what it is that I had her do for me. So truly, like, that was a very good investment to hire a blog manager first thing. She also did some social media tasks for me. I've since hired other people to do social media things for me. And what I have learned about myself is, says the woman who's posting videos of herself on YouTube, I have an issue posting videos of myself on social media. It is a confidence, self-esteem thing. That is inner work. I cannot hire someone to do my inner work, right? So if there is something that you're struggling with in terms of your confidence and your self-esteem, hiring somebody to do it for you is not going to fix that. You have to do the inner work yourself. So hire for something you hate and are not good at. Sweet spot, okay? And I promise you it will be life-changing for you and your business. Okay. When do you know that you're ready to hire? This is a very big deal because as a beginning entrepreneur, you entrepreneurs, as I call you are going to be overwhelmed by a lot more at the beginning because you're just starting. It's where do I go? Who do I talk to? Who can I trust? Who has good information? Who doesn't have good information? What questions should I be asking? I have to build a website. I have to start my social media accounts. I have to batch edit. I have to write a newsletter. I have to be on LinkedIn. I have to do stories. I have to do TikToks. Like, you think of all these things that you have to do that you never had to be on a routine with before. And you could be doing this full time and you have the capacity to do it without working a full-time job, but most times you're working at least a part-time job, full-time job, going to school, have a family, you have other responsibilities going on, and now you're starting a business and you're compounding that on top of everything that it is that you've been doing already, and now you're just like, "Oh my god, I have all this stuff I have to do." You are going to be overwhelmed at the beginning. It is okay. It happens, but you need to build the foundation for your business. There is a difference between being overwhelmed by starting your business, which is a very exciting and amazing thing, and being overwhelmed because you've been in your business for 6 months and you don't have good processes in place, or being overwhelmed and losing money and you need to hire someone. And I just hit the microphone and now it is officially an episode. That's right. So there's the overwhelming, I'm starting my business. Okay. That doesn't count. There is the overwhelming, I'm doing so much and it's so exhausting and I hate my life so much, because you don't have good processes in place. Do audits on your processes first, just to make sure that you are streamlining absolutely everywhere that you can. I talk about processes and systems in, I think, every episode in some capacity. Just make sure you're auditing your processes first, so you are doing right by yourself and doing right by your potential clients and customers and audience and whatever, that everybody's having a very good user experience and you are included in that user experience. Everybody's having a very good user experience. When you know that you are ready to hire is more about, you have good processes in place and you're losing money because you are overwhelmed and you can't keep up. So, I hired my blog manager when I was overwhelmed because I lost out on a couple of clients, because I just didn't have the capacity. I had to turn people down that I couldn't do trips or I couldn't do sponsored content because I know how long things take to do by that point in time, like how long it would take me to travel somewhere and write the posts and do the photos and everything like that. I was overwhelmed. I knew that I had to turn down a couple of clients because I just was one person. Um, and when that happened, I was like, I need to hire a blog manager. I need to be able to just write the blog posts, send them out, and somebody else does all the stuff for me. I give you the photos, you do all the things, you do all the back end stuff, right? So that was one of those things where that was the tipping point for me, and I think that should be the tipping point for you. When you are leaving money on the table, when you are hemorrhaging money because you as one person can't keep up with it, and it starts to affect your mental health and it starts to negatively impact the growth of your business, hire someone. And this doesn't even have to be, because this is not like a, I'm hiring someone, they're going to be a full-time employee, you have to provide benefits, everything like that. Usually when you're starting your own business, most of the time you're hiring freelancers. And that's cool. In that case, this is really important for you, is when you are ready to hire someone, it is on your terms. It is with your boundaries and is with your project in mind. Like, I know there were times I've hired someone for like 3 months because of a project I was working on, where I was like, I don't need someone to be with me for a year. I just need someone for like 3 months. And I made sure I made that very, very clear. Hey, I just need someone for 3 months to help me with this. Here's my budget. Can you help me with this? That kind of thing. So that's when you know that you're ready to hire someone, right? Is when you kind of have things falling through the cracks because you're one person with two hands and you can't catch every single thing that's falling, right? Now, the next part is the money conversation. This is how you also know when you're ready, and it's a two-parter. You know when you're ready, and also how to pay people. Um you're ready when it comes to money is being left on the table and you're hemorrhaging money, like I had stated before. But also, you're ready when you have some money coming in and you can budget hiring someone. And when it comes to paying for that person, you have to understand that, say you've worked in corporate and you know that they hire their graphic designers for like $30 an hour. They also get like health benefits and perks and, lunches bought for them every once in a while. And they're in a work environment and it's paying for like the place that they work at. And there are a lot of things that go into you being an employee of an established company that has like corporate offices and stuff like that. Okay. Your prices are going to, well, your cost is going to differ when you're hiring freelancers because they are paying for their own health insurance, they're paying for their own, tools, whatever it is that they're going to be using. Their rates are usually going to be a little higher than what you would see in a corporate office. So just know that, like, you are going to be paying higher. So I think my blog manager is paying $50 an hour. Worth it, was awesome. She was so good at her job. She was so nice to work with. And like, she just did such amazing things for me for like a few hours a month. Like, those few hours a month took so much off my plate. Like, the cost was just, it was just worth it. That investment of time saved that I could work on other things that really helped propel my business to now where it is now. So please just keep that in mind about money. That's also something I don't think we talk about enough is like people are going to charge you what they think they're worth based on their experience, based on their talents, based on their skill sets, based on their tools, right? And you want to be paid what you're worth, right? So just think about that when you're budgeting out. Um, so I will be honest though, I was losing, I was working full time. I was losing some contracts because as one person I was working full time, using PTO to go travel and do photography stuff and whatever, and leaving contracts on the table because I just literally didn't have the time to do all the back end stuff. And I used some of the money I was making from client work and some of the money I was making from my full time job to pay for my blog manager, which then shifted into me being able to take on a little more client work, and then that paid for my blog manager instead of my full-time job income paying partially for my blog manager. So I hope you can understand that shift, and I started to make more money when I hired someone. Funny how that works out. Okay, so where do you even start to find these people? If you have decided what it is that you need help with, such as somebody setting up newsletter funnels for you, or somebody helping you with your SEO on your blog, or somebody doing accounting for you, whatever it is that that looks like, right? Where do you find these people? First of all, I found people in Facebook groups, Fiverr, Upwork. Um, Fiverr's cheaper and it's usually through Fiverr, right? That's the whole point. It's through Fiverr. So there's a little, I felt going through Fiverr, even though I've had good experiences through Fiverr, I felt going through Fiverr wasn't as great because I had a little less control over the communication style, over like I couldn't just check my email to talk to them. I had to check Fiverr to talk to them. So there are like some pros and cons to Fiverr. So it's definitely more affordable and there are different tiers of what it is that you can pay people for, but I just felt better with the trusted Facebook groups that I'm part of. Um where I was finding people. And I say trusted Facebook groups because it's like established Facebook groups that have been around for a while that I was part of the community for a long time and I saw what people were posting. I didn't just go through and join a bunch of Facebook groups and was like, I'm hiring. Um, I did join, I think, two virtual assistant type Facebook groups, but I was on them religiously for about 2 weeks, checking them every day, checking the posts every day, interacting with people every day before I even posted anything about needing to hire someone. So I was a very active participant in those groups because I wanted to see what are people talking about? How are people reacting to you? Like, is this like a safe space? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, best judgment. There are also like really great communities out there for such as me, like I'm part of private entrepreneurial communities where I trust the people that I connect with and or the people that are in my private communities and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm looking for this. Does anybody have a recommendation?" And usually like 5 people will be like, here are 5 different choices for you, right? So put yourself out there, network with other people that are in a similar niche to you where you're just like, hey, I saw that you do this. By any chance, have you ever hired a VA for this kind of thing? A VA is a virtual assistant, in case you didn't know. But have you ever hired like a VA for this kind of thing? Or have you ever hired a blog manager? Or have you ever hired a social media manager for yourself? Like, reach out, talk to people. They'll give you recommendations. Now, for some established groups that I was part of, I did create a Google Forms application process where I just posted it in the group, hey, I'm hiring, and I posted my form, which leads me into the hiring process. You should have a hiring process. You are hiring for your company. You are a business. Even if it's just you, you are a business. So interview people, have them submit their resumes and portfolios if you want references to what previous work they've done or other creators that they've worked with, whatever it is that that looks like, right? Like, go through investing your time into hiring someone that is going to be worth your investment for paying for them. Um, when I hired my blog manager, I posted in like, I think 3 Facebook groups that I was hiring someone. I got maybe like overall, because it was very specific what I needed, and not everybody wants to do the SEO work, right? Like, not everybody's a fan of that. So it was very specific what I was hiring for. Like, hey, listen, I write the blog post. I just need somebody to do SEO work for me and a couple of social media tasks. And I got some applications and I did some interviews and I picked someone, right? Um, what this does open you up to, and this happened to me. I got a lot of flack for the application of me hiring someone that I posted. I got not like hate comments, but it started a heated conversation that I didn't post how much it was that I was paying someone. And I didn't realize that at the time. I mean, this was years ago before I realized pay transparency really is a thing that should be for available for everybody so they can budget and look at it and go like, this is not worth my time, unfortunately, or I would like to apply for this job, right? So keep that in mind about pay transparency. So there were people who were very rude to me about the pay transparency thing and then applied to it and then sent me really rude messages and then would like withdraw their application, and you do open yourself up to all kinds of people. Some people that are not so nice and some people that are just like so incredible to meet. And very thankfully, I met my blog manager who is just like an incredible woman, and she's just like the coolest person. So I had the opportunity to meet this person because of me putting my application out there. And I just want to put that out there for you. You are going to get back and forth about the types of people who are going to be applying. Some people are going to be messaging you even after you set a deadline for when applications are done by, and turn it off in your forms. Like, nope, this is by 7 a.m. on the 7th, done. You're still going to get messages from people afterwards. Hey, are you still accepting applications? I'm interested. Like, you're still going to get messages about that kind of stuff. Like, just know when you put yourself out there to hire someone, there's extra communication involved. There are rude people involved. There are really cool people that you're going to meet, and you want to interview them. I would go through and just check out their resume or portfolio that they've given you. And I would ask them questions about their experiences specifically, but I would also make sure that you have general questions that it is that you want to ask. You want to make sure this person is aligned with you and your business. This is really important because when I hired my blog manager, I was still like travel photographer-esque at the time. And I wanted someone who was traveling. I wanted someone who got it. I wanted someone who knew that if I didn't have Wi-Fi for 3 days and I missed my own deadline of sending them a blog post, they wouldn't be mad at me for it, right? I've hired people who I was not aligned with, and it made it very stressful for me. So that's why getting applications and having an interview process is really important, because you want to see if you vibe with someone. You're going to be paying them to do something for your business, right? It's really important that it works. It's really important that it works. So The other thing too is every person that you bring in, oh, hit the microphone again. Yes. Every person that you bring in is also a potential collaborator, referral, um, or future hire down the line. So there are people that I met in the blog manager application process that I wouldn't have hired as a blog manager, but ended up doing something else with them down the line where it's like, hey, I have a 3-month project. If you're still available, like I could really use your skill set for this. And it just happened to work out. Right. So, um, just keep that in mind that there is more that you would get out of it, even if it's for later down the line when you go through an interview process. The next part is onboarding, hiring for success. Now, if you are in an established business, there are companies that suck at onboarding people. They are just terrible at onboarding. It's here's your job, go do it. And then there's other people who are fabulous at onboarding. You go through weeks of training, you meet all the people that it is that you need to meet, you get familiar with all the tools that it is that you need to be familiar with, and then they slowly integrate you like a fish into a new tank. And you're just like, wow, this onboarding experience was awesome. So just think about when you've started a new job somewhere, what it is that you hated about starting that job and what it is that you loved about starting that job. And integrate the things that you've learned as being an employee for someone else. What an onboarding process looks like that would be fantastic for you and onboarding this person for your company. When I hired my blog manager, I had a whole onboarding packet for her. I had my assets, I had my aesthetic, I had all the hex codes for my brand. I gave her access to like all my logo designs, my business cards, my headers, like literally anything she could possibly need from me. I made sure she had it in Google folders. And I gave her an onboarding packet of like, thank you so much for being here. This is my mission statement. These are my values. This is what it is that I expect out of this role moving forward, as was so discussed in the application process and interview process. Um, these are the dates that I have for everything. Here are the day deadlines for things. This is the process we go through. These are the folders you're going to use. Here are the links to everything you need to have access to. Here are the passwords you need to have access to everything. Like, I made sure that when I onboarded my blog manager, it was as seamless as possible for both of us. Now, there were a couple things I missed, don't get me wrong, but I had put so much effort into onboarding her that it was pretty minimal. Because the thing is that she's an extension of me now. Even if she's an extension of my business for 10 hours a month, that's still an extension of my business. She's still going to be taking care of things for me, for my business. And I want to make sure it's done right and correctly. And she has everything she needs to be successful. So just keep that in mind with your onboarding process. It's really important that you're setting them up for success, because then your business is even more successful because of how it is that you integrated them into your routine. Okay, final point of hiring someone. This is your business. And when you start it, you put blood, sweat, tears, money, laughs, giggles, anger, frustration. Every emotion the human can experience is experienced when you start a business, right? The thrill, the excitement, the hatred, the table flipping, everything. So sometimes it can be very hard to let go of the reins and let someone else do something. So here's another reality check for you. They are not going to do it exactly how you do it. Do not micromanage them. They're a completely different human being. Um, you can let them know what you expect of them. Hey, I expect it done by every Friday, this thing to be in this folder. Please by this time because I schedule it for XYZ thing, right? Or this is what I need done one Friday a month, whatever it is that looks like. You're allowed to put your parameters on it. You're allowed to put deadlines on things. You're allowed to put routines and schedules on things, and that's totally fine. But constantly messaging someone like, hey, what are you doing? Where are you at? Why are you doing it this way? I wouldn't have done it that way. You are going to be paying to micromanage someone. you're going to be paying to micromanage someone. Just trust yourself, okay? You went through the hiring process and the interview process. You hired someone that you vibed with, that you felt would be a good extension of you and your business. You need to trust that decision and let them have their space. Now, if you feel that maybe they're not doing what it is that you want them to do, or they've missed a couple of deadlines, you need to have the adult conversation of just a reminder of these are the things that are expected of you. If not, I think maybe this isn't working out, and that comes with the territory. And I think like managing your hires is a different video, but trust the initial decision that you've made to hire someone, to bring them into your little world that you've created, and you need to let go of the reins a little bit. Okay. 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 Because when you do that, that is the freeing part. Now, it's going to take a couple weeks. I'm going to be honest with you. When I hired my blog manager, I was like, I was so nervous. And then, she did a couple blog posts and I was like, oh, this is like very near what I would have done or better than what I would have done. And, she would even give me suggestions like, hey, I noticed you wrote this, and I think it'd be better if this sentence went this way because of the SEO keyword research. Like, I learned things because of hiring someone, and there was a back and forth that was very healthy and communicative. And it's just one of those things where that wouldn't have happened if I didn't let go of the reins a little bit and trust her. Now, the first couple weeks, I was very nervous, and I would like check in like immediately every day, like, hey, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. And then I was like, no, 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 don't, don't do that. Because the thing is I was wasting my own time. And the whole point of hiring someone was to free up my time so I could focus on other things so I could make more money, right? So it's all very cyclical, it's all very circular. It's very important that you trust this person because it means you're trusting yourself and you're trusting what it is that you've done with your business thus far to be able to hire someone to let go of the reins. Because the thing is like, if you want to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, and that's amazing, and I hope that happens for all of us, you will need help and you will need to relinquish some control over certain tasks to be able to monetize things, work with certain clients, have passive income, whatever it is that looks like. You need to relinquish some control somewhere. So just keep that in mind. It's a very important step in part of your onboarding process because you onboard this person into your world. You need to trust that you've done it well, right? And then, you can have little check-ins, and I would have monthly Zoom calls with my blog manager. Hey, where are we at? How, what went well this month? What didn't go well this month? How can we work better together? That worked out really well. And, like I said, that's more of a video for working with your new hire, but this is about hiring someone specifically. So just keep that in mind. Relinquish some of your control. It is okay. I promise you, it is okay. And your business is going to be awesome. It's just going to be so good. And last but not least, at the request of you guys, I have opened up my calendar for entrepreneur coaching calls. Now, this is for my entrepreneurs out there. Like, you are just starting your business, or maybe you started it years ago and you're coming back to it. And it's like, it was 2010 when you started something and now it's 2026 and you're a little lost and confused by all the social media. And I totally get that. So I have opened up my calendar for a limited time to just see how this goes. I'm not saying a limited time to give you a sense of urgency. I'm not that kind of person with that tactic. It's more just to see how I like it. I really enjoy learning about other people's businesses. I just think people are just so creative, and it's so amazing what it is that people do out there. So I would love to learn about your business. Please let me know what it is that you do, and I would love to help you get it off the ground. I would love to help you come up with a 30-day plan, or maybe give you some clarity on some processes that you are struggling with, whatever it is. please use the link in my YouTube description that leads to my Stand store where you can book a call with me. At this point in time, I'm currently open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, East Coast Standard Time. And yeah, my hours are pretty good, I think, for most time zones. If for whatever reason you want to work with me and the times and days that I have available just aren't working for you, that's okay. Just please send me a message on Instagram and I will work with you to, create a time that works better for both of us. It's just for right now, those 3 days worked out really well for me and those time frames worked out really well for me. So that's why I use them, right? Um, but yeah, I've really enjoyed connecting with some of you here on YouTube about your businesses, and you guys have requested for me to open my calendar to help you with your business specifically, which I hit the microphone again, which I really thank you for. That's a huge compliment. I've been doing my business for 10 years now, and I have evolved from scrappy little travel blogger and travel photographer into a multimedia studio with 2 podcasts, a YouTube channel, and multiple social media handles and all that jazz, right? So I've been through some shit and I have been through amazing, amazing experiences. So I can really help you with those highs and lows and help you get through stuff. So it is called a hot mess triage. And I help you triage what it is to be starting your first business here. So please use the link that goes to my Stand store and I will see you guys there, hopefully. Other than that, please let me know in the description or in the comments, what would you hire first for? Please like this video, please subscribe, all of that stuff. But I know there are also some entrepreneurs following me out there, and I'm just really curious what you guys think about what your first hire was and how that helped you, because I think it'd be really useful for other people to see what it is that you're hiring for. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.